So you know how a lot of us were talking about how Denzel Mims may wind up getting cut and being the odd man out because we have such a deep wide receiver room? Well, he just requested a trade, so I got 3 teams that might be interested in the former second-round pick. Welcome to Jets Talk. My name's Ryan. I'll be your pilot. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. If you've been here before, welcome back. I love having you here. Boys and girls, we are talking a little bit of trade drama-llama news, this time involving our former second-round pick, Denzel Mims. And man, has this really fallen a long way. I remember when we drafted Denzel Mims, I was so excited. I was over the moon. O'Leary, Matt, and Greenbeat, we were just jumping for joy that this guy fell to us in the second round. We traded down. We're like, oh man, we're going to lose this dude. And we wind up still getting him in like what we considered an amazing trade down scenario. And it just never came together. He wound up getting hurt through his first training camp and then, missed some time. Had a few flash moments, a few games with like 50 yards or whatever. And it just seemed like, year 2 is going to be the year that he's going to really take off. So you roll into the offseason, you're like, okay, we got our wide receiver 1. And then the Jets go out and Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh, they get Corey Davis. All right. And they get Keelan Cole. And then they draft Elijah Moore higher than Denzel Mims. And you're like, all right, well, that's a little weird. But you know what? We just need weapons to help our young quarterbacks. That's just what you got to do. Totally fine with that. Totally reasonable. Then Denzel Mims winds up getting food poisoning before camp, misses an entire training camp, and is like really behind the ball the entire way. We heard all last year that he couldn't figure out the playbook, and he was unable to put all the pieces together to get on the field. Then fast forward a little bit more, you go into this offseason, and you wind up drafting Garrett Wilson, number 10 overall. You give Berrios a nice contract, and all of a sudden Denzel Mims, after bringing in the 2 tight ends and you draft Breece Hall, like weapon-wise, you're talking both running backs, the top 3 or 4 wide receivers, both tight ends ahead of Mims in the pecking order for reps, and reps are just so limited in today's NFL. There's no 2 days or anything like that. And it just all came to this point. So a lot of us were talking about, is this guy going to get cut? What's going to happen? We only got like a week left. So to see him come out and request a trade, I'm not going to lie, is a little kind of funny to see, but I understand the thought process, and I do think a fresh start for him is really the best way to get his career right, and the Jets just can't offer that. They can't offer him the playing time to be able to straighten out his career. So I really hope that he finds success because he's a fascinating player to watch, and he's a really fast. His height and speed combo is just unlike anything you'd normally see with athletes, and it's a shame we couldn't figure out how to make that work. Now, his agent released a statement. It's just time. Denzel tried in good faith, but it's clear he does not have a future with the Jets. Denzel vowed to come back better than ever this season and worked extremely hard in the offseason to make that happen. Still, he still has been given no opportunities with the starting offense to get in a groove with them. We feel at this point a trade is our only option since the Jets have told us repeatedly they will not release him. Joe Douglas has always done right by Denzel, and we trust he will do everything in his power to find another team where Denzel can be a contributor. So to me, it kind of goes back to that, like, I guess if Joe Douglas is saying, hey, we're not dropping you or releasing you, the Jets' plan before this trade maybe would have been, hey, you're going to sit around this entire season. God forbid we get an injury to one of our top 3-4 wide receivers, you're going in. Corey Davis's contract's also, easy to get out of after this year. So in the event that Denzel Mims does show out a little bit and Corey Davis, we want to save some cap space, maybe you move on from him and Denzel slides right into where Corey Davis, was. Clearly you need to see an uptick in production, but his agent and him decided, hey, this is just the best route for us to go. I'll be honest, I really thought Denzel was going to get cut next week, so I find it just a little bit comical. But let's go through a few options, 3 options that I have for the New York Jets and Denzel Mims and where they could potentially go and what it might cost a team to acquire him. The first one up is going to be the common one, I think, and that is, let's look at his stats first. His stats through his first 2 years in the league. 31 receptions, 490 yards, 0 touchdowns. So really lackluster performance. This is the type of stat line that you're trying to trade off to another team. Like, this is former second round pick, not going to be able to get that kind of value back here. First team that everyone's going to be talking about is with his former college coach at Baylor, Matt Rule, down in Carolina. Now, if the Jets could wind up getting a really nice draft pick from the Carolina Panthers, that would be awesome. They don't have a third-round pick, but they have all their other picks. Now, I'm not expecting a third-round pick for Denzel Mims. If we could get a fourth, I'd be really, really excited. I don't think he has justified his draft selection, nor do I think a fourth-round pick would really justify that trade. Like, I think we would be getting the better end of that deal at this particular point in time because we're not going to use him anyway. Now, would Matt Rule actually make that move? He's got Baker Mayfield down there. They're trying to see what they can muster up. This seems like the last hurrah for Matt Rule. And maybe bringing in someone that he trusts, someone that might motivate Mims, is really the way that they should go about it. It might be the best situation for Mims across the board because he was thought of as a first-round pick while playing for Matt Rule. So I really like this option. Send him to the opposite conference. I don't want to see him, potentially be a thorn in our side at some point in the AFC. So Matt Rule, that's probably going to be the really popular option that I think a lot of people are going to go with. The second option, I wouldn't mind trading him to the Raiders. Now, the Raiders have their own disgruntled offensive lineman from the 2021 draft. Former first-round pick Alex Leatherwood. It seems like they can't quite figure out where this guy's going to fit in. Now, the Jets have their starting tackles, but Leatherwood, former Alabama prospect, this guy's got a lot of upside. And maybe there's a situation where the Jets see, hey, this is a young dude on a relatively cheap contract. He was the former number 17 overall pick. So not totally cheap. He's going to be a little bit more expensive than Mims, but maybe a change of scenery for him is just what he needs. Mims needs that scenery change. He goes out west. I wouldn't mind this one. I think any opportunity to potentially bring in young talent at highly valued positions that just didn't work out otherwise, this gives you a year to just kind of see if it would work. If it doesn't work out, you wind up cutting them and, no harm, no foul. So that's an option I do like. The other option that I think is kind of interesting would be with Mike Lafleur's brother, Matt Lafleur, up in Green Bay. Now, Green Bay obviously trying to win a championship with Aaron Rodgers before he winds up hanging it up. And receiver-wise, they're not terrible. They did just draft the kid out of North Dakota State, Christian Watson. Now, I haven't really been following up on him as far as where he's at in his development, but a lot of people thought that he was probably going to need a little bit of time to kind of flourish. And maybe someone like Denzel Mims that provides sort of similar attributes to Christian Watson may be beneficial in the type of backup role. Now you're talking like a mid to late round pick here probably, but maybe since they are in such a win now mode, maybe you could get a little bit sweeter of a deal from the Packers or maybe you just give a family discount for the Lafleur brothers. I don't really know. But if there's one person that I trust to make a move for the New York Jets, it is Joe Douglas, and he is going to get us the most we could possibly get for a player that we're really not going to be using anyway. I'm really frustrated because I wanted this to work out, but once you saw the puzzle pieces fitting together, you saw Berrios, you saw Corey Davis, you saw Elijah Moore, you saw Garrett Wilson and all the tight ends and everything. It makes sense that we move on and try to get any kind of value that we can from Denzel Mims. So guys, let me know your top landing spots down below in the comments section. And as always, go Jets.